Hey y'all, I have a battle here against eldercleric2, and it's a battle in an interesting tier called PU, which like I said, find interesting. Pretty useless, it's under NU, so we're obviously going to be using some really interesting and not very seen often Pokemon. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. My opponent, eldercleric's on a lead with Ariados, as I lead with Wigglytuff, who of course is a tough Pokemon. Now, I know this thing probably does carry, well, probably could carry a poison move. Either way, I just want to set up Stealth Rocks. I kind of figure right off the bat he's going to set up Sticky Web anyway, since that's one of the main reasons you would ever use Ariados. And, yeah, I go for a Hyper Voice, and actually I'm surprised by how little it does, as he does end up having a poison move. I wasn't really sure because, fairies are kind of rare in PU, so I don't know if he actually carried it, but he does, so, I am going to switch out now. Wigglytuff is tough enough to take that hit, as I decide to go into Arbok now, who's obviously going to be able to take a bug or a poison move, especially after the Intimidate, although he just ends up trying to go for the Toxic, which obviously does not affect Arbok either. Now, he does go into Aethelug here against my Arbok, which is a physical tank. In fact, it has a ton of physical defense. The only reason that it is PU, I think, is because of its horrible typing. Either way, I do get off a coil, and I'm like, okay, Gunk Shot after a coil is super strong still. I'm going to go ahead and go for it, see how much it does. And as you can see, it does a decent chunk, as he just goes for a Rapid Spin. I'm actually thinking here that he's going to go for the Roar. I know a lot of Avalugs do carry Roar, kind of phase out people that try to set up against them. So, yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking he's going to do, so I'm just trying to get damage here. So I go for another Gunk Shot, as he actually decides to go for an Earthquake, which is something I wasn't really expecting. And obviously he's super effective against my Arbok, although with the defense boost, actually looks like I can take another one after, well, okay, maybe not, but either way, looking at his HP, I'm kind of thinking I can kill him with one more hit. I actually make a misplay. I do get a poison, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to risk a Gunk Shot miss. He's in red. I try to go for an Earthquake to finish him off, and that ends up being a misplay because, yeah, I totally underestimated Avalug's physical defense there. Obviously, he has a ton, and, yeah, I should have just went for another Gunk Shot to finish it off, which was a major misplay on my part, as he just gets off the Recover, which is going to get him much-needed HP back, so, yeah, pretty bad misplay for me. I'm just going to go for another Gunk Shot now, hoping that I can maybe, you know, kill this thing off, but he's going to keep going for Recover, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to get another Coil off. With another Coil, I should be able to be doing enough damage with Gunk Shot to, you know, be able to take this thing out. Plus, another Coil would mean I have more defense, so I might be able to take an Earthquake better, and might be able to, you know, take another one before I die. So I just go for that extra Coil, as he ends up actually, I believe, going for the Earthquake this turn, which actually was a pretty good play for him, because that puts my Arbok really low. I have to hope that I can kill him with a Gunk Shot with +2 attack at this point. Now, looking at his health, he's going to be, like, under half at this point. So I'm like, okay, maybe, just maybe, a +2 Gunk Shot can take this thing out. And I go for it, and not quite. I should have just finished it off with Gunk Shot when I had the chance, because now he is going to be able to take out my Arbok, which is kind of sad, because I do have Sucker Punch in this thing, so it would have been able to get damage on something else. The only fortunate thing for me, though, is that this Avalug is going to die to its poison, so at least I'm going to be able to take this thing out as well. A 1-for-1, so to speak, but it could have been so much more if I just played that a little better, but I guess what can you do? Anyway, I go into Licky Licky, which is actually a choice-banded Licky Licky. He goes out into his Flareon, which I kind of assume is also choice-banded, maybe. And, yeah, I'm just going to decide to stay in and take whatever he's going to do. He ends up going for a superpower, so maybe I shouldn't have. But I do live it because Licky Licky is a fat son of a gun, and I'm just going to go ahead and return, and that's going to take out the Flareon, so that's pretty nice for me, although Licky Licky is kind of low at this point. And when he goes into Raichu, I wanted to fit a ground type. When I was making this team, I wanted to fit a ground type into this team, but I just couldn't fit it in. The PU actually doesn't have many ground types, but looking at my team, this Raichu scares the crap out of me. I have no way to, like, resist or, you know, be immune to this electric attack. So, it's that Raichu from the start, I knew it was going to be bad. Anyway, going to Hypno, who has pretty good special defense, so that's, I feel like I can take that, Raichu, maybe. Just go for a Psychic, as he goes down to Dugong, who also has good special defense. Now, I'm just going to go for the Sub here, as he goes for the Toxic. Now, this is actually a, Baton Pass Hypno. It's actually not meant to be used, you know, offensively itself. but it's a pretty interesting gimmick set, as he does have the poison off on me, which is kind of going to hurt me. But as you can see, due to my good special defense, I'm going to be able to take a hit from this Dugong without losing my sub. I'm going to get off a nasty plot, which obviously is my setup move as I heal and then take damage. And yeah, the second hit is going to be able to kill me from this Surf, however. And yeah, but at the very least, I'm going to be able to set up another sub. I did predict that he was going to kill my sub this turn, so I just go for another substitute. And I know for a fact, now that I saw that I can take one hit from the Surf with my sub, which is key. So I'm going to be able to get off that second nasty plot, which is going to put me in a sweeping range once I Baton Pass out into what I want to Baton Pass out into. So he does go for the Surf, which is a thing, and I just go for another nasty plot. Now I'm just going to go Baton Pass this turn. I know the worst he can do is break my sub, and he ends up actually just going for the rest. I guess maybe he thought I was going to try to go for a super powerful Psychic, and with a little bit of extra HP, he might have been able to live. I'm not really sure. Maybe it was a misclick, but definitely it was a misplay, because he does go to sleep here as I'm able to get off a free Baton Pass. And mind you, Baton Pass also lets me keep the sub. Because he didn't break the sub, I'm going to be able to keep it going into Swanna, which is an interesting Pokemon, a water flying type. And it is my timid Swanna, and I feel like I can do a lot of damage as this thing is just sleeping. Now, I missed the first Hurricane. Hurricane is a powerful move, but it's one with low accuracy, and I miss a second Hurricane. I'm like, come on, Swanna. I set you up for the sweep. You can do this, and there you go. The third Hurricane hits its target, the Dugong, and just takes it out in one foul swoop. So there you go, Swanna. You finally did something. So he goes out into Ariados now, hoping that maybe he can outspeed and break my sub. It ends up not being the case. Like I said, this is a timid Swanna, and I'm just going to go for that Scald, and that tanks out Ariados. So he's paying for his mistake earlier, not breaking my my sub, because you know that Raichu could definitely kill Swanna if my sub is gone. Now he goes on Leafeon, and interestingly enough, it outspeeds, which kind of reveals to me that it's a choice Scarf Leafeon. Unfortunately for him, he is going to be able to take care of the sub, but unfortunately for him, obviously, he is going to have to, it's going to cost him his Leafeon, which gets taken down to a Hurricane, which thankfully hits. And his last Pokemon is Raichu, which is going to be able to come in here and outspeed my Swanna and take it out, but Swanna really did what it's supposed to do. Same with Hypno. Good job, guys. You did it. Anyway, now this Raichu is scaring me. I have a damaged Wigglytuff, this Magcargo, and my obviously nearly dead Hypno left. That's all I have left, and this Raichu could really do damage. He's going to go for the nasty plot to set up, which I'm actually looking back on it, maybe he didn't even need to do. He might have been able to kill me with 2 Thunderbolts as is. Either way, I get off the burn from my Lava Plume, which was huge, because now I'm going to be able to 2-KO with it, and I do have the Focus Sash on Magcargo. Good job, Magcargo. You're going to be able to do it and win the game. Looking back on it, that Nasty Ball might have been a misplay, because he, if he would have just went for the Thunderbolt and 2-KO'd me, I'm pretty sure he would have been able to kill Wigglytuff and Hypno too. But either way, a great match. I do like these really low-tier matches, NU and PU. They always bring out interesting stuff. But today's question of the day is as follows. What is your favorite move to use Baton Pass with? Now, obviously, due to Baton Pass clause, you can't, Baton Pass everything. So you're going to have to choose a few moves, or actually choose one just stat-boosting move, or a move like Baton Pass. As for me, sorry, not Baton Pass, substitute to Baton Pass. But yeah, as for me, I really like I really like the synergy between Substitute and Baton Pass. I mean, Substitute helps you do what you want to do with your Baton Passer, and as you can see, set up sweeps. It doesn't really matter what you Baton Pass, as long as you also can Baton Pass a sub, which will help protect your investment. But leave a comment about that, and see you guys next time. Later.